Max Verstappen continued from where he left off last season as he clinched the first pole of 2024 during Bahrain qualifying. But the slim margin between him and Charles Leclerc suggests that the Scuderia Ferrari team are catching up faster than we all expect. And if they continue with this momentum, the reigning world champion will have his hands full this season. But what does Max Verstappen think of Ferrari's Bahrain Brilliance? And could the Prancing Horse team mount a challenge for the title? Considering the stiff competition for places at the Bahrain qualifying session, Max Verstappen would have been pleased to clinch the pole position. But on another day, it could have been a different story. The Dutch racer turned on the heat when it mattered most, setting the fastest lap with a time of 1 minute 29.179 seconds. However, it was far from being the easiest qualifying of his career, and he definitely knows it. To put things in perspective, Charles Leclerc was only 0.2 of a second slower than Max Verstappen. And the Ferrari racer would have been feeling unlucky considering that his best time in Q2 was actually 14 thousandths of a second faster than Verstappen's pole lap. Expressing his frustration after the session, Leclerc said, "I'm a bit disappointed, but yeah, we did a good qualifying. It's been a tricky weekend until now. We were trying quite a few things in practice and then I found the sweet spot in qualifying." Speaking further, the Monegasque racer said the team's decision to switch tyres may have affected his chances of taking pole. Nonetheless, he believes that the team has made significant improvements from where they were last season. Q1 was a bit tricky, Leclerc explained. "Unfortunately, we put on 2 new sets of softs, which compromised a little bit the Q3. But all in all, it's quite a good qualifying, a good start of the year. We are in a better place compared to a year ago, so that is good. Now we have to see the race pace tomorrow." Obviously, Max Verstappen would have been pleased to clinch pole position, but the margin was so slim he thought he had been beaten to it. While still in his car, Verstappen offered an apology to his race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase. "I'm so sorry, GP," Verstappen said over the radio, thinking his time wasn't good enough for pole position. Thankfully, team boss Christian Horner was on hand to quickly provide some clarification. "Nothing to be sorry about, Max," Horner said. "A very good start. 2 tenths clear of Charles and 3 tenths clear of George." Despite Horner's words, Verstappen knew the results could have gone anywhere. In fact, during his interview, the reigning world champion told journalists that clinching pole position was a bit unexpected. "To really get everything out of it in Q3 was a little more difficult, but I'm very happy to be on pole," Verstappen said. "It was a little bit unexpected, but luckily in qualifying the car came to us and I felt a bit happier with the whole car." Commenting about the track and the performance of the much talked about RB20, the star racer had this to say: "It was a lot of fun. The track had a lot of grip, but with the wind the last 2 days, it was tricky to get the whole lap together. It was the same in qualifying. The race is going to be close as well. We look good as well, but we'll see tomorrow. I'm confident we can have a strong race." While many people would have been surprised by how well Ferrari challenged for pole position in Bahrain, the stats suggest it's something we should probably have expected. Regardless of Ferrari's reliability issues, Leclerc actually took more poles than Max Verstappen in the last 5 races of the 2023 season. In addition, the newly launched Ferrari SF24 was one of the best performing cars during pre-season testing. And if that wasn't enough warning for the rest of the grid to take them seriously, they gave us a well-timed reminder during qualifying. Everything seems to be going well for the Prancing Horse team. Aside from Red Bull, they look like they're the fastest team on the grid, but the likes of Mercedes and McLaren are showing promising signs as well. For context, there was only half a second between Max Verstappen in pole and Lewis Hamilton, who qualified in 9th place. This highlights how tight the qualifying was and perhaps how close the race for this year's championship would be. After watching the qualifying sessions, F1 legend Martin Brundle said the other teams in the paddock are actually closer to Red Bull than most people think. And Max Verstappen shares the same sentiment. "Feels like the top 8 or 9 cars are closer, and that's great to see," Max said. "Of course, we have to see when everyone has full fuel at the beginning of the race. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I think it will be an interesting race. There's probably no need for panic yet, but we suspect that Red Bull will study the result and try to improve the setup, especially for Sergio Perez, who finished 5th in qualifying despite driving the same car as Max Verstappen." This gives the impression that without Verstappen's exceptional driving skills, other teams can defeat the RB20. However, it is also possible that the car is not running at full capacity yet, and that's not surprising. A lot has been said about the radical upgrades that the RB20 comes with, but we all know that Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez will need some time to adapt to it. And ideally, that's going to take a while, probably the first 3 to 4 races of the season. With that said, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos like this one. Currently, the general belief within the F1 community and most drivers is that Red Bull is the fastest team on the grid. We really think that Red Bull is still ahead by quite a bit. In the race, Leclerc said after qualifying second for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So we'll see, but if there's an opportunity, as always, I'll go for it. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Echoing Leclerc's thoughts, George Russell said Verstappen is still ahead of the grid, adding that he and his teammate Lewis Hamilton have to do more to close the gap. Everybody at the factory has done an amazing job to give Lewis and I a car that we feel much happier with and a base we can build on. Ultimately, Max is still out there in front and we still have a lot of catching up to do. So far, Ferrari looks like the closest challenger to Red Bull, but only if they're able to solve the issues that ruined their campaign last season. Looking back in hindsight, Ferrari had good qualifying pace throughout last year, but they never really showed the same form on race days, largely due to their tyre degradation and reliability issues. So that's one thing they will be looking to change this season. All through the winter, we've been told many times that Ferrari engineers are working round the clock to improve the race pace and tyre management ability of their car. And ahead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, team boss Frederick Vasseur said the car's tyre management is on a different planet compared to last year. But obviously, we'll have to see things for ourselves. In Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, Ferrari have a talented lineup of drivers. So, assuming the tyre management issues have been sorted, like Vasseur claims, they will be among the contenders this season. However, with Max Verstappen's form right now, it will take more than a good car to defeat Red Bull over the course of 23 races this season. But that's not to say it's impossible. After all, we've seen stranger things happen in Formula One, like John Surtees' title win in 1964 and Jenson Button's incredible championship success in 2009. Do you think we might see something similar this season? Let us know in the comments section below.